Welcome back, MTN Giants podcast. We should have seen it coming. I don't know why I felt confident about getting the first pick. I really don't know why. There's so much to be mad at in this video. And if you're a person that's happy about the Giants winning today, I would just recommend tuning off. You're probably not going to like the next 20, 30 minutes of this video. So I'm trying to think who to be mad at first for this happening. So I think first of all, we have to go to the Colts. Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator, to allow Drew Lock, a guy who couldn't beat out Daniel Jones in training camp, really couldn't beat out Daniel Jones at all until they had to inevitably cut him from the team about the injury guarantee, to allow that guy to score 45 points on you in a win-or-go-home matchup is one of the more embarrassing defensive efforts you will ever see. And this is not the first time the Colts have done this shit. I remember back in, I think this was either 2020 or 2021. I think it was 2021 because Phillip Rivers, I think, was there in 2020. So 2021, the Colts with Carson Wentz had a winner-go-home game against a 1 or 2 win Jacksonville Jaguars team, and they lost that game. Last year with Gardner Minshew, they had a chance to make the playoffs with a win versus the Texans. I think they were on the road. They threw that swing pass to the running back. I think it was Tyler Goodson. He dropped that pass. Colts missed the playoffs. This year, this wasn't a winner, win and you're in type of situation, but if they lost, their season's over. So now the Colts' season's over. So in this situation, you come in as over touchdown favorites, 7.5-point favorites, go into MetLife against a Giants team that has lost maybe 10 straight games. They've covered the spread I think one time in the past. Yeah, they covered the spread one time since week 5. They were on a losing streak since week 5. The Giants have not won a game since October 6th against the Seattle Seahawks. So you go into this game as 7.5-point favorites. You allow the Giants to beat you. Not just beat you, but embarrass you. I know the Colts had 33, but for the Giants offense to do this is so pathetic. And first of all, I do want to be mad at the Colts. That's why I called them out first. But I also want to direct my attention to the Giants front office. Now, apparently, according to all reports and whatnot, Joe Schoen's going to be safe. I don't agree with it, but that's just how people are reporting it. I've heard reporters like Jordan Ronan say it's 60-40, or it might have been Ryan Dunleavy. I forget who it was now. But 60-40 that Joe Schoen stays. So this win was good for him. Brian Daboll seems gone regardless. If you're Joe Schoen and you're going to be safe, and I'm sure John Mara has communicated that you're probably going to be safe, why are you trying to win this game? I understand this is not a generational quarterback class. I get it. But you should want to pick first overall. There's 2 supposedly good quarterbacks in this class between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. And Cam Ward, who looked phenomenal yesterday. So you could have had your pick at either one of those guys. And you're probably saying, well, Mike, players don't tank, coaches don't tank. You don't have to tell me that. I get it, guys. I get it. I know players have too much pride. They're competitive. They want to win. Coaches are coaching for their jobs and their families and all that stuff. I get it. But if you're Joe Schoen and your goal is to get the highest pick possible, what the hell are you sending out Drew Lock for? What are you sending out Malik Neighbors for? What are you sending out Tyrone Tracy for? I understand you want to get them 1,000 yards, but play them next week. Tracy was questionable all week basically with an ankle injury. And Neighbors was a real game time decision. It took Adam Schefter tweeting at 2 a.m. last night that Neighbors is expected to play. So all they had to do, and even Drew Lock, I didn't bring up Drew Lock. Drew Lock had a freaking shoulder MRI this week. Apparently he's fine, but he still had a shoulder MRI. The out was there is what I'm saying. It wasn't like they were just making up injuries. They easily could have said Malik Neighbors with, I forget what his injury was now, but he's out. They could have held out Tracy with the ankle. They could have held out Drew Lock with a shoulder injury. Tommy DeVito sucks. They easily could have played Tommy DeVito. The old Italian part of the fan base, they would have been very happy with it. And I'm Italian, so I can say it. But that was your best chance to lose. You put out DeVito, you take away Neighbors, you take away Tracy, you lose the game. That's it. There's no putting it to chance. You can't put these things to chance. The Colts are freaking pathetic. I just talked about how they could have won a game in 3 of the past 5 years to make the playoffs in the final week, and they don't do it. They're choke artists. Anthony Richardson, oh, my foot hurts. Oh, my back hurts. I'm sitting out. They probably win this game with Richardson. The team has different life with Richardson. I don't think the defense plays this bad if Richardson's playing. Obviously, Flacco made nice passes that Richardson probably doesn't make, and I'm a big Richardson guy, but I'm realistic. I know he airmails a lot of throws, and he's very inconsistent, but I think if he plays, the Colts defense plays much better. There's just more life with that team when Richardson plays, and I'm sure Colts fans can vouch with me on that one. So I feel bad for their fan base, but I feel worse for us. It just happens every year. We get so caught up in like, oh, the Giants, they're picking second overall, they're first overall. And then this shit happens. A 3-game Tommy DeVito winning streak. Even back in like 2017-18, like they'll always win these games at the end of the year that they just shouldn't be winning. And once again, it comes down to Joe Schoen in the front office. And even John Mara. If John Mara wasn't a short-sighted moron who was like, whoa, Giants pride, I want to win as many games as possible. If we had a smart owner, he would have said, hey, why don't you hold out Neighbors till next week against a better team like Philly? Why don't you hold out Tracy until next week against a better team like Philly? Why don't you play Tommy DeVito because he gives us a better chance to lose? I don't understand what the downside is. I really don't. If Joe Schoen's job is safe, which they're saying it is, and John Mara is the owner, so he ain't going anywhere, why not try to lose? I don't understand. I'm probably mad at the wrong people because the Colts should have won this game anyway. But as I said before, if you're the Giants, you can't put it to chance. You have to go into the game saying, all right, there's no chance we win today. But I came into this thinking, all right, there's a chance they win today. Because I like Drew Lock. When the Giants signed Drew Lock, I was a fan of it. Obviously, he has not been that great. But Drew Lock has these games in him. That's what he does. Drew Lock's like I don't want to say he's a high upside guy, but like he'll give you games like this once in a while. Drew Lock has a great arm. He can extend plays, and he just happened to have his best career game today, or one of his best career games, because I remember his first year he had a few good games. So do I blame the Colts more? I do. But I also blame Joe Schoen and John Mara and anyone else who has decisions in who suits up or not, because they really could have tanked this game. They could have held the important guys out. If Neighbors doesn't play, they don't win. If Locke doesn't play, they don't win. And that would have been it. There you are with the first overall pick. You go to Philly next week, you probably lose. And then that's it. Shedeur Sanders pulled up in Giants cleats yesterday. Sorry, buddy. That ain't happening. Cam Ward looked like a stud yesterday. That probably ain't happening. Now, maybe it does. I don't want to, completely be all doom and gloom because the team with the first pick right now is the Patriots. Now, maybe they just say, F it, we'll take Travis Hunter. But there's also a chance that maybe they trade back. And if they do trade back, the Giants, I'm sure, would give up more than anybody else to trade up. But the problem is the team picking second right now, which is the Tennessee Titans, they also need a quarterback. It seems like Will Levis and Mason Rudolph are not, they're not the answer there, obviously. And even Cleveland, if they lose today, which I don't know if they will or not because there's no Tua playing, so we'll see how that game goes. But the Browns are 3-12 right now. And I remember I was at dinner last night and I was watching the Bengals and the Broncos game, and I was thinking watching that game, man, I hope the Bengals win because it gives the Colts incentive to try today. And it's like everything went right. The Bengals had this crazy win last second, T. Higgins, great catch, and the Colts came into today, and it's just like they weren't ready. It was like the Colts were a team that had 3 wins and didn't care. It's like that should not be happening. And they beat themselves in plenty of ways. I just think about some of the decisions that Shane Steichen made. You had that 4th and 1 where, honestly, Jonathan Taylor, if he just reaches the ball out on that left sideline, he picks up the first down. So just low football IQ by Taylor, which we've seen before this year, obviously, back to the drop ball at Denver. But then you decide to go for like a halfback dive. Like you have Joe Flacco, who's probably 6'5", 6'6", just QB sneak. Get the first down. Why are you being cute? You try this 2-point conversion play where it probably works if Taylor catches the ball, but why are you trying to be cute? Just run Kylan Granson to the, on an out route. Set a pick within 1 yard, and that's probably 2 points right there. Like, you don't have to be that cute about it. It's the Giants we're talking about. So anyway, we're going to talk about the game. I have a lot of notes on this game. The Giants broke a lot of records, a lot of stuff that hasn't happened since like the 40s, the 60s. So there's a lot to talk about, but I'm obviously pissed off, disappointed. I should have known, though. I don't know why I got my hopes up. I just should have known this was going to happen. I'm watching the Browns now. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's terrible. Like, this is how you tank. Take a note from the Browns. I can't believe I'm saying this to the Giants, but take a note from the Browns. Play the quarterback that gives you no chance to win. Dorian Thompson-Robinson can't win. I mean, maybe. I don't want to eat my words, but he probably can't win. So anyway, yeah, leave a like, subscribe, hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. And then I look up at this Nets game, and they're up by 15 right now, and they should be tanking. It's just like my teams just don't tank the right way. It's just very annoying. And then let's trade for D'Angelo Russell today. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't get that one either, but this is not a basketball podcast. Subscribe to MTN Nets podcast for that. The Giants offense, obviously, great day for them. One of their best offensive games in a long time. The broadcast said this was their first game over 40 since January 1st, 2023, which was against the Colts. That was the last game Nick Foles played, and that, of course, was when Kayvon Thibodeau did the snow angel right next to an injured Nick Foles. One of the more awkward situations you'll see. But 389 total yards, no turnovers. There was the Tracy fumble, but no turnovers. They were 7 for 13 on third down. Both teams were, but that's very impressive for the Giants. And Drew Lock had a perfect passer rating in the first half. That was like the first time since like that was 2009. I saw that was against Eli against the Raiders back in 2009. So that was the first time a Giants quarterback had a perfect passer rating in the first half since 2009. So Lock, 17 of 23, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, no sacks. I know the Colts pass rush is not great, but like the fact that they really had no pressure this entire game is so bad. And the Giants offensive line sucks. It's like Andrew Thomas is out, John Runyon's out. Like, they really have nobody. We had, like, Aaron Stinney playing today. There was some other guy playing that usually doesn't play. And they still, like, couldn't get a hand on Drew Lock. It was pretty bad. Malik Neighbors, obviously, just a monster performance. 7 catches for 171 yards, 2 touchdowns. They were not using him really in the third quarter, which was confusing. And then they finally went back to him, and he had, like, that curl, and the 2 Colts missed a tackle. I think it was Kenny Moore and somebody else, and Neighbors took it down the sideline. And that's when I thought like that was the dagger, but then the Colts had a touchdown right after that, so it wasn't the dagger. But that was good to see from Neighbors. Like we knew before this, like he's already a stud, wide receiver 1, but I'm hoping that him with a real quarterback, which obviously winning today hurts our chances of that, but I feel like Neighbors with either Cam Ward or Shador, like, he'll be great. So I'm excited for that if it were to happen. I just don't want to get my hopes up at this point. But that curl route he had that went for a touchdown was 59 yards. Like, that was a crazy play. You don't see that much from a Giants receiver. So to make explosive plays like that, I like it. Wandale had a pretty big game, I would say, for the most part. 5 catches for 71 yards. It felt like a bigger game than that, but he made a lot of key catches. That big third down over the middle, picked up 35 yards on that play. There was a missed tackle by Julian Blackmon, and he had that 3rd down and 3 catch on the sideline. They ran that play a few weeks ago, I remember. I forget if it worked, but this time it worked. And it did work. I remember this. I think it was either last week or the week before, and the Giants, like, they went for a 4th down, and it was a QB sneak with DeVito. They didn't get it, and then like the next time they had a 4th down, they ran that play to Wandale, and it worked. It was the same exact play, so they're 2 for 2 running that this year. Tyrone Tracy, 20 carries for 59 yards, no touchdowns. Singletary was 5 carries for 21 yards, and Drew Lock had 5 carries for 0 yards, but had a touchdown. I guess some of that was with that kneel he had at the end of the first half. So let's go over the game and talk about the game notes I took. The first drive was looking good. There was a 3rd and 3. Flacco went to Alec Pierce on a 1st down over Jason Pinnock. Adonai Mitchell had a 1st down on a curl versus Deonte Banks. Of course, Banks missed a tackle. And Banks, honestly, like, this might have been his worst game. And I know that's saying a lot, but, like, he was so bad. I think he had, like, 2 or 3 bad penalties in this game. He was getting mossed a couple times. Like, it was just a rough performance there for Deonte Banks. Then there was the Dame Belton interception. It was honestly a great catch. I really can't say anything bad about it. Joe Flacco got blitzed. He threw a YOLO ball, which the first time it got picked, the second time it worked. We'll go over that later. But he threw it up for, I think it was Mo Alley Cox, and he had no chance at it. The only guy that had a chance was Dame Belton. He made like a crazy turning catch. He was full out extended. So a great pick there, but that play, if that doesn't happen, it probably turns into like a Colts long field goal attempt. So that could have been 3 points taken away right there. The Colts D on their first drive, they had a 3 and out. There was 2 stops for a loss on running plays. Then there was that 3rd and 12 dump off to Tracy. He was very close to picking up a 1st down, but was just short. Obviously, the Giants being inside like their own 15, they had to punt. The Giants had a 3rd and 12 false start by Aaron Stinney on the Giants' 4-yard line, so not the best place to do that. Raheem Nunez-Roches had a sack on Joe Flacco, led to a Matt Gay field goal from 32 yards, made it 3-0 Colts. And then here's when the Giants offense really started to pick things up. So Tyrone Tracy had that run for 40 yards down the right sideline. On the next play, he slipped and lost 5 yards. And then we had a 3rd and 14 screen pass to Malik Neighbors for a touchdown, made it 7-3 Giants. And it was around this time when it came out that the Giants had 2 rookie teammates go over 1,000 total yards. First time a rookie pair of teammates has done that since 1970. So for Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy, congrats to them. I'm sure John Mara looks at that as a great look for Joe Schoen, that 2 rookies have had that successful of a rookie season. There was a big Kylen Granson 3rd and 9 crosser for a first down on Isaiah Simmons, so the Colts picked up a big first down there. The Colts ran this was another one with Shane Steichen where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I do like Shane Steichen. I thought like he actually was a pretty good offensive mind. But here's one right here. 3rd and 8. They do an inside handoff. I'm like, all right, they're probably just going to run it on 4th down. They're going to go for it. Just get, some of those yards back. So 3rd and 8, they run the handoff. They get like 3-4 yards. I'm thinking, all right, they'll go for it on 4th and 4. They bring out Matt Gay for a 54-yard field goal. This is Matt Gay, not Brandon Aubrey, not old Justin Tucker, like Matt Gay. And Matt Gay misses from 54. I don't know what the hell Shane Steichen's doing. So they give the Giants a short field. Malik Neighbors has that RPO slant. That's when that graphic came up that Neighbors had 30% of the team's receptions, which was the highest for a rookie since Anquan Bolden. I think that was like 2003. Darius Slayton ran like that deep slant, caught a 32-yard touchdown. There was a broken tackle in there as well. He was stumbling, but got across the goal line, made it 14-3 Giants. Adonai Mitchell dropped a 15-yard curl on the next drive. There was a deep ball to Alec Pierce. He dropped it, but pass interference on Deonte Banks is first of many penalties it felt like on the day. The Colts got the ball on the Giants 12. They did have to settle for a field goal, made it 14-6 Giants. Next drive, Drew Lock had that ball off his back foot. He just threw it up there for Neighbors. It was underthrown, but Neighbors came back to it, made a nice catch down the right sideline. There was a chop block on Bellinger. It cost the Giants 10 yards. But then this was the next play where they went down the left sideline to Neighbors, back shoulder throw. Neighbors caught it. It looked like he may have bobbled it, so the Colts challenged it. It made sense. It was 14-6. The Giants had a ton of momentum. It's like, all right, I get it. So I'm not going to be too hard on Steichen for that one. But the call is held up. But then, luckily for the Colts, the Giants and Jake Kubis, they false start. The Giants go from the 1-yard line back to the 6-yard line. But then, of course, the Colts defense, with that gift, still give up a 6-yard touchdown to Wan'Dale Robinson, who absolutely cooked that Colts cornerback on that play. I remember that route. He ran towards the top of the end zone, then just whipped his way back to the corner, and the defender was lost on that play. So a great route by Wan'Dale, but for the Colts defense to get that gift of a false start and still give up that touchdown, that was a bad look. And I also saw the graphic where this was a very surprising one, but this was the first time apparently in Giants history, if I saw it right, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a graphic came up. It was the first time in Giants history where 3 wide receivers each had a touchdown, or 3 different wide receivers had a touchdown in the first half of a Giants game. I was like, what? We've had the Knicks, Manningham, Cruz trio. We've had good trios of receivers. This is the first time it's ever happened. That was tough to believe, but I guess according to the graphic, it's true. This play, the Colts kind of caught a bad break, so Giants jumped off sides on a 3rd and 2 right before the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. But apparently the ref said that the time went to 2 minutes before Elijah Garcia jumped off sides, so they just didn't count it. They did get the first down. Later on this drive, Brian Burns had a nice run stop on 2nd and 2. Brian Burns was good today, by the way. I don't know if the stats really showed it, but he was in the backfield a lot this game. There was a 4th and 5. The Colts went for it. I was kind of surprised, but they did. I think it was 21-6 at that time, so it made sense, but a 4th and 5. Kylen Granson made a tough catch. It was great ball placement. Good catch, though. Jonathan Taylor had his first touchdown of the game on that next play, 4-yard touchdown. Kayvon and Elijah Garcia, they had a chance to get him, but they really couldn't shed their blocks, so that was a rushing touchdown there for Jonathan Taylor to make it a 21-13 Giants lead. Then to start the third quarter, we're thinking all right, it's an 8-point game. The Giants, they'll blow it. Right out of halftime, first play, Amir Smith-Marset returns a touchdown for over 100 yards, makes it 28-13 Giants. First time since 1949 the Giants returned an opening third quarter kick for a touchdown. It's like, you just cannot make this up. I feel like a lot of us right there were just like, yep, they're going to win this game. Jonathan Taylor, though, he responded, a 26-yard touchdown. It was a quick drive. The Colts basically just wiped that Giants return touchdown off the board. So it was 28-20, back to an 8-point game. I wrote Neighbors catch and fumble, but no, that was Tracy. Tracy had a catch and fumble on a third down play. The Giants luckily had the ball bounce their way. I think it was Illuminor jumped on it. It could have been somebody else, but I saw him in the area, so I'll give Illuminor that credit. Michael Pittman made that insane catch on the right sideline on one of those Flacco YOLO balls. He was backpedaling, got blitzed, threw it up. He might have pushed Adoree Jackson to the side. It could have been OPI, but they didn't call it. So he made a nice catch there for Michael Pittman. It looked like the ball was like just 5 feet off the ground, and Pittman like just saw it last second and was like, oh, football, catch. And yeah, it was a great catch. And this was the stupid drive here where Jonathan Taylor, I think it was like a 3rd and 2. He ran to the left. I don't know why they're running like this wide running play on 3rd and 2, but they do it. And Taylor comes up just short. But as I said earlier, all Taylor had to do was just kind of reach the ball out to his left or to his right, and he probably picks up the first down, and there is no 4th down. So they go for a 4th down and 1, run the halfback dive. They easily could have QB sneaked with, once again, 6'6" Joe Flacco. They don't do it, and it's turnover on downs in Giants territory. So that's a massive play in this game, where if the Colts had gotten that and went down and even got a field goal and cut it to like a 5-point game, that really could have changed the momentum of this game. The Giants offense got stuck in a 3rd and 8. Wandale ran a curl like 9 yards down the field. I don't know what the hell the Colts defense was doing, but they gave up a first down on that play to a Wandale curl. He had a lot of big 3rd down conversions, Wandale. He really did. The Giants went for it on a 4th and 1. I think it was like on their own 41. Or maybe it was a little further, but they did a toss play to Tyrone Tracy. It did not work at all. He lost like 2 yards, so I was very happy when that happened. I thought the Colts would take that momentum and run with it. Turns out they did not. Right after they took that deep shot to Alec Pierce on the left sideline, Deonte Banks actually played that one perfectly. That was like the one good Deonte Banks play from this game, so he played the ball perfectly. It fell incomplete. And Banks actually got injured there, but I think he got up and he was fine after. Then the Giants go 3 and out inside their own 10-yard line. The Giants took almost no time off the clock. The Colts started with the ball on their own 39-yard line. Deonte Banks then had another pass interference on Pittman for 19 yards. The Colts had the ball on the Giants' 20. Then Alec Pierce had that grown man touchdown, a corner route right between the corner and the safety. It was Pinnock who really had, they were doing like that head top celebration. So tough look there for Pinnock, but a great catch there by Alec Pierce. It made it a 26-28 game. Colts had to go for 2. They try that. I think the play where they were being too cute, honestly. They tried that screen pass to Pittman. It was a well-thrown ball. Pittman threw it back perfectly. Of course, Jonathan Taylor, who probably walks in to tie the game, takes his eye off of it. The ball bounces, and it remains a 2-point Giants lead. And I had a lot of flashbacks to last year against the Packers when the Packers had to get a 2-point conversion to go up 3. And, of course, the Giants came back with Tommy DeVito, Randy Bullock, and they won the game. So it just brought me back to that. And I'm like, yeah, this is not going to end well. They ran that short 3rd and 3 out route to Wandale, got the first down. That was the play I was talking about before where I thought they ran it a few weeks prior. It worked again, so that play works out for the Giants. And then right after that, we had the 59-yard Malik Neighbors touchdown. 2 Colts had a shot at him. They just somehow did not make a tackle. They were there at the same time, too, and somehow Malik Neighbors got past him for a 59-yard touchdown. So a lot of yards after catch there, but a great play by the first-round wide receiver. We're thinking it's over at that point, but Alec Pierce on the first play of the next drive had a monster catch over Banks and Adoree Jackson. There was no safety help, so the Giants are up 9 with 8 minutes to go. And instead of playing like a conservative defense, for some reason there's no safety on the field. And Alec Pierce has this big catch. Pittman had the 8-yard touchdown. Adoree Jackson in coverage there. He did not have some good moments in this game. Adoree made it a 35-33 Giants lead. Then there was that play where Wandale Robinson was wide open. It would have been a first down easily. He dropped the ball. And I'm thinking like, oh man, this might be it. Like this is the football gods giving us some some luck here. Wan'Dale dropped his wide open catch. And of course, they go back to Wan'Dale the next catch, and he makes a diving catch on the sidelines and gets the first down. So I'm like, all right, so much for that. Football guys were teasing us there. The Colts defense got the Giants into a 3rd and 8. I was feeling good about this play. They got no pressure whatsoever. Wan'Dale Robinson picks up 35 yards, a missed tackle by Julian Blackmon and then Kenny Moore. Locke had just way too much time to throw. So just once again, that Colts defensive line was just pitiful today. And then this was the dagger. Drew Lock had a scramble 5 yards out, made it 42-33 Giants. And it was right then and there where I'm like, yep, the Giants are not getting the first overall pick. It's a damn shame, but that's when it happened. So as I wrote down in my notes here, the Colts are good at losing these games. They've had so many games within the past 5 years where they lose the final week and it ends their season. Then Joe Flacco threw a pick to Drew Phillips. I think that means Drew Phillips is now the interception leader for the Giants this year, so that's good for that. Good for him. Good for the rookie class once again. Good look for Joe Shane. Kayvon Thibodeau had a sack fumble. Elijah Garcia recovered it, and that was pretty much the game. The Giants took a couple knees, and that was the game. So, yeah, the Giants get a victory that they didn't really need and probably will hurt them in the future, but we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I already had someone respond to me saying, you're the worst kind of fan. There's no one knows if Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders is going to be the Messiah. They're not going to save the franchise. I'm like, all right. I literally wrote down in my notes section, or in my reminders, to check on that tweet in a year. I said, I will check this in a year. Don't delete the tweet. That's all I said to that guy. So I'm not going to argue about it now, but we'll see in a year. If one of those guys turns out to be Jaden Daniels or, someone great, yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to start a dialogue, just like that Charles Barkley meme. We're going to start a dialogue. So I do think, once again, I said this last video, I do think one of Shedeur or Cam Ward ends up being great. I don't know which one still. Might be Cam Ward after what we saw yesterday. But I just find it hard to believe that both guys suck. I don't know. Someone brought up to me in the comments, there's still a chance both guys suck based on, how much the bust rates are at quarterback. And, that makes sense. And then I had someone like my brother, for instance, who was like, well, when's the last time a first overall pick was good? So I was like, all right, let me go down the list here. So Caleb Williams, I think he's good. I know he has, not the best supporting cast, but I think Caleb's going to be fine. Bryce Young has limitations, but he's a decent quarterback. I think with maybe the right wide receiver 1, he'll be better. Trevor Lawrence, I still think he's going to be fine. I might be on an island there by myself, but I still have faith that Trevor Lawrence will end up being okay. The injuries are a bit scary, but I think next year is a big year for him, but I'm not out yet on Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback in football, first overall pick. Kyler Murray, he's good when he cares. I'll put it that way. When there's no Call of Duty stuff going on and I don't know. I feel like he has great games. So Kyler, he's been an above average quarterback for the past 5-6 years since he's been in the NFL. Baker Mayfield, I know it didn't work out the first 3 teams, but he's a stud. He's a great quarterback now. Jared Goff he's a good player. I don't know if Jared Goff's elite, but he's a good player at least. I know the supporting cast does a lot for him, but still, he's a good player. So, that's an example there of, first overall picks. Yeah, there's not, they don't all hit. I get it. But I think a lot of first-round picks have been good players in recent years. It's funny. I could hear my dad and brother arguing about Eli Manning versus Matt Ryan. I think my brother's a bit brain dead. I don't know. He's talking about how the Giants defense gave up 14 points in the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan's defense gave up whatever they gave up. I mean, I'll tell you what, if Eli was up 28-3, he ain't blowing that. So I'll leave it at that. But anyway, on to the draft order. So right now the Giants sit at number 3 overall. There's only one quarterback needy team ahead of them. Now, if the Browns win today, that's fantastic. I will be less of a crash out if that happens. But still, I won't feel safe about it because a team can still trade up with the Patriots and jump the Giants, which would now put 2 quarterback needy teams over the Giants, who sit at number 3. So I'm not completely okay with it, but I would still feel better about it. And if the Giants really wanted to, and Elliott Wolf and Joe Shane have a good relationship, which they talked a lot last year about trading up for Drake May, then maybe the Giants trade from 3 to 1. And the Titans will most likely take a quarterback, and the Patriots at 3 can still take Travis Hunter, and everybody's happy. I still hate the fact that the Giants have to probably trade next year's first-round pick to move up 2 effing spots, or 3, because they won this stupid-ass game on December 29th to improve to 3-13. So if you wanted to win this game, F you. I really don't care. I am not holding back today. This was stupid. This should not have happened. These idiots, Joe Shane, John Mara, they easily just should have sat out the good players. Just sit out Malik Neighbors. He was already injured. Sit out Tracy, already injured. Put in Tommy DeVito for the MRI on his shoulder, Drew Lock. It didn't have to be like this. So now we have to give up next year's first-round pick, and hell, maybe even more, to move up 2 effing spots in the draft for a quarterback that we don't even know is good. But what are you going to do? You're going to sign Jameis Winston? You're going to run it back with him next year? Not run it back, but you're going to make him the starter next year? Like, you got to get your guy eventually, and this is probably the year to do it. Your top 3, maybe top 4. Just bothers me very much. I know I'm being emotional, I get it, but like, it's just, I was so ready to have this first overall pick. I definitely got my hopes up, and I'm a fool for that. I get it. Looking at the schedule, the Patriots will play a Buffalo team next week that probably won't play their starters. They just beat the crap out of the Jets. I'm assuming Buffalo has nothing to play for. The East is wrapped up. They really can't go much higher or lower. So the Patriots might play some backups next week. They have a chance to win that game. Tennessee will be, I don't know, where the hell's the schedule? Oh, they're home versus the Texans, which is interesting because now that the Colts lost, the Texans have the AFC South wrapped up. I doubt the Texans play their guys. They might not have to. Maybe they will because Stroud's looked pretty bad lately and they just want to give him more reps. I don't know. But there's also a chance that the Texans play nobody next week. So there's a chance Tennessee wins that game. The Giants, of course, they play the Eagles. Even like Tanner McKee, he came in today for Pickett, who got hurt, and McKee looked pretty good. So like the Giants will probably still lose that game, I think. Of course, the Giants haven't won in Philly in, I think, 11 years or 12 years when it gets to 2025. And the Browns are going to be, well, they're playing right now versus Miami. I believe it's a 3-3 game, middle of the second quarter. So I'll be really cheering for the Browns here because they might take a quarterback. They might. The whole Deshaun Watson thing obviously is not going to work long term. It's a shame, but it's not going to, so they might take a quarterback, and they end at Baltimore next week. I don't really trust the Browns to win that game, even if it was the backups for Baltimore playing. I just don't see that happening, so I really hope that the Browns get it done today. That would be great. And of course, for the Giants, they are going to be probably underdogs by a good amount next week. I'm looking now. There's no spread yet. I know PFF does a lot of like the look-ahead spreads and whatnot, but there is no spread right now for that game. Or there might be. Sorry. Nope, there's still not. I was on the Colts schedule. But no, there's still not, so we'll see. I'm assuming if it's like the Eagles backups, they'll still be favorites by like, I don't know, 4 to 6 points or somewhere in there. Maybe even more. But if it's the Eagles starters, and I still think there's a chance they play the starters for a half, because you think about it like this, right? Jalen Hurts has not played since like the first quarter of last week. So if you're the Eagles, do you really want Jalen Hurts to sit out week 16 for basically the entire week, all of week 17, all of week 18, and then go into a playoff game? Like, do you want to sit him for like 3 straight weeks basically and throw him into a playoff game? Like, if I'm the Eagles, I might want to give Jalen Hurts at least a half of reps to be like, all right, this is game speed. Let's get back to it. And maybe they play their starters for a half. I hope they do because that's all we need. But it'd be weird if they just don't play Jalen for like 3 straight weeks and then throw him into a playoff game. I don't know. We'll see how they go about it. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to get to. I did see on Twitter a potential Brian Daboll taking a shot at Daniel Jones. Brian Daboll said, if you get that quarterback play, you have an opportunity in every game. So take that for what you will. I think there is kind of a shot being thrown there, but we'll see. Actually, we won't see. We'll never know. But I'm speculating. I think that is a little shot at Daniel Jones and maybe the GM that signed Daniel Jones. I don't know. We'll see, because I'm sure Brian Daboll knows what's coming in the next couple weeks when he'll be probably fired. Which, once again, if they're going to keep Shane, I'd rather just keep Daboll. Like, I don't see a point in getting rid of one and keeping the other, but I doubt it goes like that. They'll probably pick the worst option possible, which would be to fire one and keep the others. So we'll see about that. If the Giants were to, God forbid, win next week, they're probably screwed. Like, they'll be, because the Giants' strength of schedule is very high compared to other teams, which does not bode well. The only team with a higher strength of schedule is the Bears at 4-12. So, like, if the Giants were to hypothetically win next week versus the Eagles backups, which, once again, I would still think they should play Jalen Hurts, but I'm not the Eagles, so we'll see. But they'll be picking like 8 or 9. So next week is a must-lose game. I'm not really going to care because I was so, and I should be happy. Like, I won my fantasy football championship, won a lot of money, but I'm still like, this pissed me off even more. Like, I hate how much I care about this team sometimes, but they have to lose next week. I'm going to try not to care about the outcome, but I do. So we're going to see how that one plays out in Philly. I just hope they don't purposely lose that game. Want to check on the Dolphins-Browns before I sign off. So 2-minute warning. Dolphins have a 4th and 19 on their own 26. I mean, if Dorian Thompson-Robinson can just be decent, they win this game, but he's just not that good. He just threw a pick a couple minutes ago, so I don't know what to expect there, but I hope that obviously the Dolphins find a way to lose that game, so we'll see. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sure you didn't. Hope you appreciated my rants in the first few minutes of this video. I usually don't record this early because I usually have people over, but today I was by myself and just kind of in preparation because I had a funny feeling about today. But I guess the good news is you kind of get like an instant reaction from me instead of waiting until 9 or 10 o'clock when I might have been a bit more calmed down. So if I was a bit harsh today, I am not sorry to anybody, but at the same time, I think that makes for the best content sometimes. So anyway, I hope it doesn't affect their draft pick too much. I just hope they find their quarterback. That's really all that matters. So we're going to see what happens in April and whatnot, and especially next week when the order is finalized, and I went over the scenarios before. We'll see if Philly is favored and by how much, but I'll do a preview. And someone brought up to me in the comments, in my community comments, because I didn't have time to make a preview for this game, and one guy, it was Ben Lee, who said, "The one time you don't do a preview, we win. LOL, can't wait for a crash out vid." Well, you did get the crash out vid, but I was thinking that too, Mr. Ben Lee. I was actually thinking like, watch, this will be the one time the Giants win because I didn't do a preview video, and look what happens. So I don't take any blame for it, but I think if you're looking at it from a superstitious standpoint, there might be a bit of blame to go my way. So I apologize if I had anything to do with that. So that'll do it. Browns offense is at midfield. I hope they make it 10-3 at halftime. They're running with Deonta Foreman now. I think I saw Jerome Ford had an ankle sprain, so that's another weapon that we could not afford to lose for the Browns, but they did. So Deonta Foreman revenge game. Not revenge game. He never played for the Dolphins, but he did score me like 30 fantasy points in a game last year, so it's in there somewhere for Deonta Foreman. I hope that it works out. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed once again, and I'll talk to you guys next time.